going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort, and China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And we have CNBC speaking about Bitcoin ATMs and Ethereum pump. Now, when it comes to the news, we know they use the Hegelian dialectic. Cryptocurrency can be used for money laundering and all types of criminal activities. But we know the banks are what? The biggest drug dealing, money laundering, gun running son of a guns. And then also, guys, why did Ethereum pump? That's right, CME. CME, guys, it happens every single month. Bitcoin, now they came out with micro Ethereum futures, which help pump the market. We know where this pump is coming from. The Fed still has trillions of dollars is putting inside the market on a daily basis. But we know at the end of the month, we're going to dump. We know this for a fact, so get yourselves prepared. Why? Because the Crypto Teacher told you. Because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Crypto Watch. The price of Bitcoin hitting an all-time high tonight after surging more than 8%. Incredible numbers. Investors, of course, can get in on the crypto surge by buying Bitcoin from ATMs. They're in spots across the country. They accept cash for digital currencies. But the FBI is now warning about a major crime with criminals targeting crypto ATMs. Eamon Javers reports in a new CNBC investigation, cash in, fraud out.
Welcome all of you to the city of Miami to Bitcoin 2021.
Here at the country's largest Bitcoin conference in Miami, nearly everyone is talking about cashing in on the crypto craze.
We're the first Bitcoin ATM companies to try to push some education. You can do that in one transaction.
You can utilize any wallet you'd like to use to store your cryptocurrency.
And crypto ATM companies who make their money by charging a premium on each transaction are a growing part of the industry. With more than 26,000 kiosks around the country, these machines are a huge convenience, and also they can be a huge target for fraud.
How easy is it for criminals to exploit these machines?
Seems like it's very simple.
Lisa Cellino is counsel for the New Jersey State Commission of Investigation, which looked into Bitcoin ATMs, finding many operating with virtually no oversight, even though their owners must register with the U.S. Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network.
There's no ID collected. There's no photo taken. There's no address.
And that opens the doors for criminals.
Yes.
And what do they do with it?
I mean, anything from money laundering, dark web, fraud, scams.
The New Jersey Commission's report discovered more than $70 million deposited for cryptocurrency purchases between 2015 and 2020. Many companies allowed customers to buy up to $900 worth of cryptocurrency with only a cell phone number or no information at all.
Is that a bad idea?
Based on what we found, yes, because it could be any name and your cell phone number could come back to anybody.
Which is handy for drug traffickers and money launderers, who the DEA says are using the machines to aid in the movement of illicit bulk currency. We wanted to see how easy it was to buy Bitcoin with just a phone number. So a CNBC producer tested it out at this machine in a New Jersey convenience store. After getting this text warning about crypto scams, it only took a few minutes to complete the transaction. A spokesperson for the companies that run the ATM said they take knowing customers' identities very seriously and will only allow transactions with just a cell phone number if they can verify who is buying crypto. If not, the machine will ask for an ID.
Is somewhat of the Wild West.
Mark Grenz, co-founder and president of Digital Mint, a Chicago-based company, is trying to clean up the crypto ATM industry.
These customers would not believe that they want to be victims, and they would state, I'm going to go to other Bitcoin ATM companies who never ask me any questions and let me purchase how much ever I want.
Digital Mint recently launched a cryptocurrency compliance cooperative to develop universal compliance standards. One study found nearly 75% of all the illicit funds leaving ATMs wound up at fraud shops, which are sites on the dark web that sell stolen credit card information. To buy crypto, Digital Mint requires customers to provide a government-issued ID that it verifies, plus a phone number. One of Digital Mint's competitors is CoinFlip, also based in Chicago. The company allows someone to purchase up to $900 in crypto with just a name and a phone number. Higher amounts require more identification.
Is that safe?
It's 100% safe, and it's,
why?
Even if someone shows an ID, if you're sending Bitcoin to someone you don't know, you have the same problem.
CoinFlip wants to offer its services to a wide range of customers.
We want everyone to be able to buy $50, $100, $200 of Bitcoin, regardless of their immigration status and regardless if they have an ID. Everyone who wants access to Bitcoin deserves to have access to it.
We know how this system works. You know, we've been doing this for 6 years. We know how to keep people safe.
New Jersey now has pending legislation that would require all crypto ATM operators to get a license in the state. Around the country, regulation varies widely, with some states requiring a license, while others have no oversight of this industry whatsoever. Shep, back over to you.
Eamon, thank you.
Why do you think we're seeing this rise to new highs here?
Well, I mean, the whole crypto market has been driven by adoption, right? And so we're getting new investors in, a lot of it being like U.S. macro-based investors, and they're starting to use Bitcoin to hedge out inflation. And then what you see is once people tend to get into Bitcoin, then they start to spread out. And what we saw over the last couple of weeks was big banks like JP Morgan came out and said, listen, it might be better to buy Ethereum over Bitcoin in this type of environment. But the message is that institutional investors are here, they're investing, and that's what's keeping the bid under the market.
Frank, I know you think there's also been catalysts ranging from the launch of the futures ETF or ETFs to, you know, funds being raised by SoftBank and others, major new fund launches, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you see a vast amount of capital pouring into the space, and that's been pushing up valuations. That's kind of the backdrop of this rally, right? I mean, I was talking with my colleagues today about one startup that's raising at a $400 million valuation in the non-fungible token market. Mm-hmm. So the amount of capital pouring in is immense.
And in NFTs specifically, Frank, I mean, how much has that been a catalyst of interest in Ethereum? I mean, is that why it's been outperforming?
Well, you have the value kicks up to the blockchains on which a lot of these different projects are being built. So you have NFTs on Solana, you have NFTs on Ethereum. So as these NFT projects and companies launch, or metaverse companies as well, that value is going to kick up to the blockchain on which they're built. And Facebook's announcement that they're sort of going all in on the metaverse has been a huge boon for companies offering services in that market. And I think you're going to see a huge wave of new entrepreneurs in the metaverse come to market over the next few months, which will help coin prices as well.
So, Brian, what is the regulatory risk here as these cryptocurrencies seem to be getting more and more traction, more and more value, and institutional interest? What do you think might happen there?
Yeah, so the regulatory risk is declining. I mean, relative to what it was 2 or 3 years ago when you really didn't have a sense of what the regulators were thinking. What we've seen and what we've heard from the regulators is that this is a new technology, a new industry. They don't want to stifle growth in that. But let's figure out the framework to go around what these assets are. And so I do think there is still a regulatory risk that potentially something that is one of these coins or one of these protocols are doing today may not be something that they could do in 3 to 6 months, that risk is diminished tremendously because the regulators are really understanding what is going on here, that this is a new technology and is really a new growth engine for the U.S. economy. It is one of the only big growth areas, particularly now that Facebook has said, hey, the metaverse is going to be something new. Crypto's already been in the metaverse for a long time.
And on that note, Brian, do you think that it does go back in many ways to Facebook, renaming itself, changing the ticker and all the rest of it as evidence that this is all going mainstream? Because when you talk to people who want to invest their money in this space, do you basically tell them, okay, stick with Bitcoin, or is it look into NFTs, look into Ethereum, think about the metaverse, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think you really do need to take a portfolio approach. I mean, if you just buy Bitcoin, you're going to capture, let's call it 70, 80% of the upside of crypto. It's kind of like buying a S&P 500 index fund. You're going to catch all of it. But if you really want to dig into what this new technology is, you do want to look at Ethereum and Solana. And Frank mentioned, there's a lot of NFTs and DeFi built on these. Remember, a lot of these other protocols work very much like a digital oil, that you need these tokens to use the protocol. And with Ethereum on a lot of this, they actually burn that. So you get a declining inflation rate or declining supply of these. So it kind of serves, if you go further out on the curve besides Bitcoin, you get a lot of the characteristics of Bitcoin plus this kind of new tech call option kicker. So I'd encourage everybody to go out there and look at, let's call it the top 30 or so cryptocurrencies by market cap.
The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.